One night, my uncle asked me, Pete, what do you do for a living? And I said, I work for the church. They have a movie studio, and I'm a film editor there. The church makes movies? Southern California was settled by a lot of Mormon pioneers. And so there were a lot of Mormons in the industry. And they realized this is something that the church needs to use. I thought, I'm going to go down to BYU. I know they have a movie studio down there. So just out of the blue, I just drove down and I found it. And something kind of made me think, you ought to go in there and see if they need a summer job guy. So I ran in there. I said, I want to fill out an application for summer work. And I've been at that studio since 1970, so that's 4 years now. This is the film we're going to see tonight anyway. I have been interested in movies since childhood. And I was born during World War II in Germany. My earliest memories are of the war. As a toddler, we were evacuated out of our hometown. The Germans and the Russians were approaching each other right outside of the city where I was born. After the war was over, people were dying of starvation. And I remember once seeing an apple core in the street. I took it home, washed the core, and sucked on it. That's how hungry we were. On Saturdays, even the East German government arranged for Saturday afternoon matinees for children. So that's the first I ever saw movies. And I was more interested in looking backwards than at the screen because there were these windows with reels turning, and I thought, wow, how interesting. How is this working? I wasn't nearly as interested in the film and the mechanics. We escaped from East Germany, from what was known as the Iron Curtain. Somehow we made it. I started the studio in 1970, and in 71 I had my first vacation, and I went back to East Germany. I still had a lot of relatives behind the Iron Curtain in East Germany. One night my uncle asked me, Pete, what do you do for a living? And I said, I work for the church. They have a movie studio, and I'm a film editor there. The church makes movies? They never even knew that behind the Iron Curtain. Inside of me, suddenly something just said, Pete, you're at the helm of this material. Next time you go to East Germany, why don't you bring him some? And I thought, Father in heaven, I don't know how to smuggle. I go in legally. They go through all your luggage and take everything away you're not supposed to have. And something just said, You just carry the luggage. Said, if that's what you want me to do, then I'll do it. When we arrived in Berlin, I happened to be the first one in and got the police check, and then they let me get my luggage. And I said, here's my declaration and everything. My hand was actually shaking. I was that nervous. He had also asked me if I had anything printed. I said no. He took my word for it. And then he saw that I had put the little bag with the projector furthest down where they open things up. And he saw that. He said, come over here, open up your bag. What do you got in there? I just about had a heart attack. I unzipped it. Sticking along the edge of the projector were 4 American magazines, 3 of them Arizona highways. And I said, sir, I am sorry, I just forgot. I do have printed material. I grabbed it, I said, here they are. There's some magazines with pictures from the western United States where I live. He said, you do have printed, let me see. So he put these magazines on top of the projector for support, going page after page. And then finally he says, I have to take a closer look at these. Well, he'd never seen America like that before. So we went over to where he writes and stuff and went through every magazine page by page. The last magazine was an improvement era on temples, so he noticed this was different. He said, now what's this? I said, those are some public buildings in the town where I live. So he went through those too, stopped at a picture of the celestial room in the Salt Lake Temple. I'll never forget it. And looked at that longer than anything he had looked at. And he said, boy, this is impressive. And he said, I don't see anything wrong with these. I'm going to let you take them in. And he let me go. I never saw the projector. And it revitalized the East German saints when they could, for the first time in their lives, see man's search for happiness.
As sons and daughters of God, is it any wonder that you are an eternal part of His plan and purpose, and coming from such a noble heritage, that you have possibilities far beyond you?
The projector was used so much that it ultimately broke. Something inside of me said, you'll be back with a 16-millimeter projector. And if you'd have had the faith to take a 16 in the first place, you wouldn't have to do this twice. And it was just this big a miracle. That projector worked until the wall went down.